This Chazor Zech Nish Bach Chazor Shag Rabbi Yehuda Zech Chullin Daf Pei Zayin. Zok the Mishnah, if someone shechted a chaya or a bird and did not cover its blood, and someone else saw the uncovered blood, he's chayav to cover it. If one covered the blood and then became uncovered, he's patur for having to cover it again. If the wind covered the blood, there is an obligation to cover it. Zok the Gemara Brisa says, Pasuk says v'shofach v'chisa, which teaches that the one who shechs is the one who should cover the blood. How do we know that if he didn't cover the blood and someone else sees that the other person has to cover the blood? Pasuk says v'oimar livnei Yisrael. This is a warning to all Yidden. Another Brisa says the pasuk says v'shofach v'chisa, which teaches the sheichet should cover the blood with what he used to spill the blood, meaning his hand. This teaches that it should not be done with his foot, so it's not to treat the mitzvah disgracefully. A Brisa says the pasuk says v'shofach v'chisa, which teaches that the one who shechted should cover the blood. It once happened that before the sheichet could cover the blood, someone else came and did so. Or Gamliel made the person pay 10 golden dinners to the sheichet for having deprived him of the reward. In fact, did he have to pay him for depriving him of the reward for doing the mitzvah or for the bracha? The difference would be regarding birchas hamazon. If someone had to pay for depriving someone else of doing that, if it's for the mitzvah, it's one mitzvah. If it's for the bracha, birchas hamazon, it's 4 brachas, and you have to pay 40 golden dinners. And if the Gemara once happened that a tzeduki ate a meal with Rebbe, and Rebbe asked if he would be staying for birchas hamazon or would rather take 40 golden dinners and leave. Tzeduki said he wanted to stay. A Baskal called out and said the kaishal bracha, meaning benching, is worth 40 golden dinners. Rabbi Yitzchak said that family of tzeduki is still among the prominent people of Rome and are known as Bar Luyanus. Mishnah said, Kisa v'nizgalo. Rabbi Achad, the son of Rava, asked Rav Ashi, why is this different than returning a lost item where we dash in the pasuk of a hashev, to teach it has to be done again and again, even 100 times? Rav Ashi said the pasuk over here says v'chisahu, which limits the obligation to one act of covering. Mishnah said, Kisahu haruach. Rabbi Bar Barchan, in the name of Rabbi Yechanan, said it only needs to be covered if the blood became uncovered again after having been covered by the wind. If not, there is no obligation to cover it. In fact, even if it becomes uncovered, since it was covered by the wind, it has become rejected and should not be obligated again. Rav Papa answered, we see from here that there is no concept of rejection regarding mitzvahs. Ein dichoy etzel mitzvahs. In fact, why is this different than the Brisa that says if someone shechs and the blood becomes absorbed in the ground, it has to be covered? And from the Brisa is talking about a case where the outside of the blood in the ground is still noticeable. The Reshuma Nicker. Zakt the next Mishnah. If blood of a chaya or bird became mixed with water, if the mixture still looks like blood, it's considered to be blood, it has to be covered. If the blood became mixed with wine, we view the wine as if it were water, meaning if there's enough blood in the mixture that if the wine were water, the mixture would look like blood, it has to be covered. If the blood became mixed with blood of a behema or at the wound of a chaya, which doesn't have to be covered, we view the other blood as if it was with water. If there's enough blood in the mixture that if the other blood was water, the mixture would look like blood, it has to be covered. Rabbi Yehuda says that blood cannot nullify blood, and therefore if even a drop of blood of a chaya or a bird was mixed into a large amount of blood from a behema, the mixture would have to be covered. Zok the Mishnah Vayit, the blood that's splattered or that it's on the knife has to be covered. Yehuda said that's only when that's the only blood that exists to be covered. However, if there's other blood, then one is patur from having to cover the blood that's splattered or the blood that's on the knife. Zok the Gemara Mishnah regarding the blood of a carbon says, if blood of a carbon became mixed with water, then if the mixture still looks like blood, it's considered to be valid blood and can be used for zrika. If the blood became mixed with wine, we view the wine as if it were water. If there's enough blood in the mixture that if the wine were water, the mixture would look like blood, it's kosher. If a blood of a carbon became mixed with blood of an animal that's not a carbon, with the blood of a chaya, we view the blood as if the other blood, as if it was water. If there's enough blood in the mixture that if the other blood was water, the mixture would look like blood, it's kosher. Yehuda says that blood cannot nullify blood, and even if there's a drop of carbon blood was mixed into a large amount of blood of an animal that's not a carbon, the mixture is kosher to be used for zrika. Rav Chia Bar Abba named Rabbi Yechanan said the mixture of blood and water is only kosher when water fell into blood. But if blood fell into the water in small amounts, every drop of blood becomes bottled as it falls into the water, and the mixture is therefore not valid as blood. Rav Papa said, with regard to the mitzvah of kisei adam, even if the blood fell into water, there would still be a requirement to cover the mixture because there's no rejection of mitzvahs. Even if the first drop becomes bottled, when the later drops then join and make the water become the color of blood, it again becomes a subject of mitzvah, becomes subject to the mitzvah of kisei adam. Zokmar Vayter Yehuda name Shmuel said blood that is any type of red can be used to bring a kapar with a carbon, can make something mushal l'kabel and is subject to kisei adam. In fact, the ruling regarding being used for zrika of a carbon was already taught in the Mishnah. The ruling regarding kisei adam was already taught in the Mishnah, and the ruling regarding mukhshar is also obvious because if it's considered blood, it's mukhshar, and if it's considered to be water, it's mukhshar. So however we look at this, it's mukhshar. After Rabbi Yehuda was teaching regarding a case where blood mixed with rainwater, which is not mukhshar, and teaches that once it's any type of red, it's mukhshar. In fact, once he takes the rainwater and mixes it with blood, his taking the water shows an intent for use, and therefore even the rainwater becomes mukhshar. And the Gemara of Naharbil said he's referring to the clear part of the blood, which, if it's reddish at all, can accomplish these 3 things. He said eating this clear blood would make one chayiv in chorus. The Gemara says this is only if there is at least a kezayis of regular blood. A brayso says that this clear blood even gives off tumas oil. The Gemara says that's only if there's a revius of regular blood. A brayso says all liquids of a mace are tar except for its blood. Any of its clear blood that has reddish to it gives off tumas oil. In fact, my Mishnah says that liquids that come from lenient sources of tuma and that come from stringent sources of tuma become a rishon. Presumably, the lenient source refers to a sheretz or zav, and the stringent source refers to the mace. This contradicts the brayso and for the Gemara. The lenient source refers to the sheretz. The stringent source refers to the zav. Why is the Rabbanan guys regarding the liquids of a zav but not of a mace? And from where people don't separate themselves from a zav, so Rabbanan had to be geyser. However, people do separate themselves from a mace, and therefore there was no need for the Rabbanan to be geyser.